How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Wolf, and welcome back to, I believe it's episode 9 of the Ultimate Survival Guide. Now, in the last episode, we left off right before the announcement and release of Betrayal League, and there have been quite a few changes to the game as a whole, which is why I put the series on hold for about a couple weeks. I think it was like a week or two, something like that. Because I wanted to make sure I had a general knowledge base for all of the new things we would come into. Because they were adding in some things into Standard League, as opposed to the previous leagues where it's just new stuff as like its own league. They are adding stuff into Standard. So when we come across said content, I will try my best to explain it to you as simply as possible. I'm still figuring out stuff. It is 2 weeks into the league, so I am trying my best. But I think I have a good enough basis of knowledge to give you guys a basic rundown of the stuff that you will be encountering in this new league here. Now, there is another thing that I do need to kind of comment on, which is that they changed the way melee works. Now, that is kind of a problem for us, kind of, not really, maybe, but I can fix it. Now, the reason that they changed melee for us was that they changed what's called stat sticks. Now, I covered this in a previous video, showcasing how Sunder would only hit with the main weapon over and over and over again. And as a result, I was able to use my offhand weapon as a what was called a stat stick. You can see it has attack speed and increased physical damage, as well as AoE damage with attacks. Now, that was because Sunder only hit with the main hand, so my main hand weapon is, of course, very, very stacked. And now, at the moment, if you will kindly watch the Sunder animation, 1, 2, 3, and you can see that it attacks with each hand, which results in we're still kind of deciding, if I'm entirely honest. The community isn't really decided on the melee thoughts just yet. A lot of people say melee is ruined or dead or up shit creek or whatever. But I don't really care much about that sort of scenario. All that really matters with that is that all the stat stick stuff I explained beforehand is pretty much null and void. So if you go into this current league or keep playing as is with the stat stick changes I was talking about beforehand, none of that really applies anymore, which is kind of annoying. So if you're playing a Sunder build like I am, we're going to most likely be opting for a two-handed build now. I don't know if I'm going to stick with Sunder. I may go for Earthquake. Actually, I may leave that up to you guys. Should I stay Sunder, or should I go for like a two-handed Earthquake style build? I am most likely going to be going two-handed no matter what now, though, because I really don't know how to do new dual wielding. Because I knew how to do, old dual wielding with stat sticks and that sort of stuff. But I guess you would just want two weapons that are really close together in damage and attack speed to kind of stay consistent. Because if you'll notice with my Sunders, right, my main hand is really slow and my offhand hit is really fast. If you mouse over Sunder, you'll see that it actually gives you two separate damage numbers now. You've got the one on the left, you got the one on the right, right? My fucking hands are all mixed up because of the camera, but still. You'll see that there's really high fizz damage on the left side, and then on the right hand side, my face cam's not covering it, we're fine. On the right hand side, over there, I guess, the fizz damage on the left hand axe is massively, massively reduced. Because this was used as a stat stick before, and its fizz damage is not great. So, for those of you playing dual wield using stat sticks and gimmicks and that sort of stuff, those got effectively destroyed this patch, which is going to affect us a little bit. I don't really know how much of an effect it's going to have moving forward. We'll see, but I am most likely going to be opting to use a two-hander once I get my hands on one. Now, with that being said, I do have one more thing to cover before we actually get back into gameplay and that sort of stuff. Actually, a few things to cover, thinking now. If you hit your skill tree button, you'll see that you get a full passive skill reset. Now, this happens every single league, every time a new league or a new expansion comes out, every time there is changes to the skill tree. So if you want to adapt your character to include the new stuff, this is how you end up doing it, because they give you a full passive skill tree reset every single league. says your character has been granted one use full passive skill reset. If you allocate or refund any other passives before using this, then the opportunity will be lost. Now, as a result, we can take a look at our certain setup at the moment. I mean, it looks kind of fine still, if I'm honest. This isn't really a skill tree that I care too much about refunding. It's a very, very basic skill tree. But if I had gone for like a riskier gimmick or something, say I had gone for like fire damage and then they nuked my fire damage setup or something that league, then I could refund that character and we would be good to go. Now this only applies for obviously characters in standard, because if you're playing in the new league, if you're playing in Betrayal or whatever, you're restarting your character, so this doesn't affect you. Now in our case, I don't really care about resetting this. The skill tree setup I have currently is fine. There's nothing really major to me, so I'm just going to take my unwavering stance point to make sure I cannot be stunned. And we're going to click yes through this. This is for the whole, you know, if you allocate a point or refund a point, then you lose the ability to fully reset your passive skill tree. So keep that in mind. And we're just going to say yes to that. And bam, we're good to go. Holy, my face really lights up when I open the skill tree, huh? It's like a Halloween. It's like Halloween all over again. Except I'm not handing out candy this year. Okay, what was I saying? Now, they added in some new skills with the addition of Betrayal League. So if we go back to Act 1, Town, and we talk to Nessa and open up her tab, or her Tier 2 tab, we shall see right here that she has some new stuff for us. It's also kind of a disaster, if I'm honest, but if we find a War Banner, this is a very, very interesting skill that I was extremely hyped about. And then it didn't work out with the build I was planning, so I got kind of sad. But it is going to work for this build, which is going to be great. So there was War Banner, and they added in another banner called Dread Banner, which we will be getting later on, but I don't think we will be using it in this build. They also added in Shattering Steel and Lancing Steel, wherever Lancing Steel is, which are two other new skills. They add in new skills every single league to try and keep things interesting, to add variety, and to potentially shake up the meta with new busted stuff. To which they didn't really make anything that busted this league. I don't think everyone's playing like Arc and all the overpowered stuff anyways, so yeah, everyone's playing like the really busted level skills. But they did add some very nice melee amplifiers, so I shall be showing you what War Banner does very, very quickly here. So we're going to return to Act 3. I'm going to have a quick check to see if I have a two-hander anywhere. 22 to 45, 47%, no. I don't really have anything to craft one either, so we're going to be rolling with our current weapon setup and seeing how it goes. We're going to get those sewer keys. We're going to talk to our man over here. We're going to see what he's going to give us. We can take anger or curses. Okay. I can try my best to give you a curses explanation, but it's really not going to take hold until a little bit later into the game. So essentially, with curses, you can put a debuff on a target, or a group of targets mostly. And these are generally very, very good. Now, if you're playing by yourself, you have one base curse slot when you start your character. This can be increased via different nodes on the skill tree. Let me show you that very quickly. So, if we go up to the Witch side, you can see something called Whispers of Doom. Now, this is for the Witch. There are alternate variations of this exact node that will allow you to get this bonus somewhere else. It just lets you apply an additional curse. Now, you have one by default. You can get up to, I don't know, like 3 or 4 or something like that, something stupid, through like uniques, that exact node, going occultist, and, you know, ramping up stuff with synergy. We've talked about synergies before. Now, the thing about curses, or on like a melee build, for example, is there's multiple different ways you can use a curse. You can self-cast it, which is to just take this, this curse, slam it in a skill slot, and then just manually press it like I do with Sunder and cast it over and over and over again. Or you can link it to a cast when damage taken. This is a support gem that allows you to start creating defensive layers. Now, you'll hear me talk about defensive layers as we get later and later into the game, but essentially you want to layer on top of your character multiple defensive mechanics. So you have a curse that reduces your damage taken. You have tons of life regeneration. You have 5,000 life. You have, I don't know, 5,000 armor. You have a granite flask for 3,000 armor. You see what I'm getting at, right? You start layering your defenses higher and higher and higher. You get Fortify on top of that. Like, you see where I'm going, right? And curses can supplement an extra defensive layer or an extra offensive layer if need be. Because some curses, like for example, I wonder if it's in here. It's not. There's one called Enfeeble. It's a blue curse that makes it so you, if you put it on enemies, they do 25% less damage to you, and they have less chance to crit you and less chance to hit you in general, which is exceptional. Absolutely exceptional. But the curse of, say, vulnerability, like we have right here, makes it so that cursed enemies take 30% increased physical damage. Cursed enemies have a chance to be maimed, have a chance to bleed, and they take increased damage from said bleed and said maim. So if you want offense, you can go for an offensive curse. If you want defense, go for a defensive curse instead. Now, I was talking about cast when damage taken before. This is one of the many ways to augment a skill. So you can have your curse as what's called self-cast, which is like, as I was saying with Sunder before, where you just cast it yourself when you're good. You can have it on cast when damage taken, or CWD as I call it, even though it's like CWDT is the abbreviation, but that's too many letters. So CWD, cast when damage taken, it goes off in an area around you, or you can have a curse Blasphemade, which is a support gem as well. Cast when damage taken is also a support gem. CWD is red, Blasphemy is a blue gem. If you have them linked up, then the Blasphemy will turn it into an aura. Now, I talked about auras in one of the previous videos, where I was talking about Herald of Ash and Herald of Purity and that sort of stuff, where it gives you mana reserved. Now, what this essentially does is it makes it so you have an always-on curse radiating around you. You don't actually have, like, something you can see, or like a rangefinder or anything like that around you, which is kind of annoying. It would be kind of cool. But you will be permanently outputting said curse, whatever it may be. So as a result, you can put on a Blasphemade Enfeeble or a Blasphemade Temp Chains, for example. Temp Chains is a curse that slows everything around you: movement speed, attack speed, action speed, whatever. It like doubles up. I don't remember entirely. And you can have that be radiating around you as you're walking around. It's pulsing out the curse over and over. Now keep in mind, since you only have one curse slot, you can only have one curse applied at a time. So you can't have a Blasphemy Enfeeble and a cast when damage taken vulnerability. You can, but it will overwrite itself. So whichever one gets applied most recently will overwrite the other curse. So as a result, you can increase your curse limit through the ways I was talking about beforehand, and then you can start getting some very insane support builds going on with like 5 curse slots or something that are just going absolutely wild. That's where some of the aura bots and stuff come in. I was talking about aura bots in a previous video, I believe, where people had like a ton of mana reserve reduction and that sort of stuff. So in our case, we're not really going to be using a curse until I get either Blasphemy or I get cast when damage taken, because self-casting a curse is not really worth your time unless you have massive cast speed or some kind of gimmick to make it worthwhile. So what I am going to do, let's see, which one do we want? Let's take a vulnerability here because it's increased physical damage. I may play Fizz. If we decide to switch to Earthquake, I believe I'll leave that one up to you guys. If I decide to switch to Two-Handed Earthquake, or even if I stay Sunder, vulnerability could be very, very useful. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to backpack this. We talked about backpacking in a previous video, I do believe. If I didn't, or just, to cover it now, if I put a gem in a second weapon slot, or a second weapon set, it will still give me XP while I'm out farming with it and out leveling. So if I'm not using the weapons and I'm using my main set, everything in the back here will still level up. You'll see my heavy strike back here is level 8. I don't remember why I had a heavy strike, but I do. Okay, now, that being said, let's put in our new war banner, put it in my chest piece, and let's go out here, shall we? We have to go to the slums, so we need to find the sewer grating, if I remember correctly. Ascendancy plaque, I will get to you in a couple of episodes, I promise. We'll be taking Juggernaut in I don't know, maybe 2-3 episodes, something like that. We're going to make our way out to the slums here. And I don't remember where the sewer grating is, but we're going to have a look around for it and hopefully find it. Alright, one loading screen less, preferably. I was kind of expecting my game to crash there, if I'm honest. Okay, now, on my right... Why is this on right-click? Oh, who knows. Let's reset that, put that on there, and then put my war banner there. Alright, that should work. So, we got a new aura. We have, of course, we have Herald of Ash, the one that does the outgoing explosion whenever we kill something. We have Herald of Purity, which is the one that gives added fizz, which is wonderful, and summons the little minions and stuff. But now we have War Banner, which looks kind of amazing. It's a little bit underwhelming because of the... Alright, one dude decided to attack us. It's a little bit underwhelming without my microtransactions and stuff on, but that's just how it be sometimes. Now let me reorganize my Keybinds setup really quickly because it decided to change itself. Now, one thing I do want to cover, as all my stuff decides to go off, one thing I do want to cover about auras and stuff is that you can free up the Keybind after the aura is on. So in our case, I have my War Banner and I have my Herald of Purity on, but I don't have them on my skill bar, which is wonderful in freeing up Keybinds. Now, I am going to keep my War Banner on my skill bar because I want to explain how this skill works. It's a recent addition, as I was talking about beforehand, with the Betrayal League. So we are still kind of messing around with how the War Banner works, but you'll see in the top left here, we are gaining stacks every time we kill something. Now, anything around me, while I have this banner up, if I kill it in the kind of invisible circle around me, I'll gain a banner stack. Now, what this does is it makes it so these enemies around me take increased physical damage per stack. I think it's per stack or something like that. But for War Banner, they take increased physical damage, as well as I have base increased accuracy, which doesn't really make much difference because I have Res Tech, which means I never miss anyways. But that is how it be. So we're going to try and make our way through here. Man, I miss playing my Caustic Arrow Deadeye. That was really fast. I feel like a fucking snail. Let's turn that back on to always attack without moving, so we can get a little faster here. Kill them. God, I feel like such a snail, I swear. Okay, let's go for a ground slam. That is still satisfying. That is still satisfying, that's for sure. That is going to be my spare 6-link setup, I think. Just to have those Vol ground slams hit like a truck. Okay, now for the main quest, we have to go through here. However, we can't go through there just yet because it's blocked off and we need to go do the rest of the quests and stuff here. So we're going to click this waypoint and I'm going to show you a little bit of a speedrun tactic that I was using while the start of the Betrayal League was going on. You'll see I have no Quicksilver flasks here. If I go back to town and then I go back to the waypoint, you'll see my Quicksilver has refilled itself. So I was using that as a sort of speed gimmick and that sort of stuff. That worked kind of quite well for me. So use that accordingly. Alright, now this Bust of Gaius Centauri here is a side quest that is going to give us a skill point. I did talk about skill point quests beforehand. There is like a giant spreadsheet and stuff you can look at if you want to figure out all of the side quests that give skill points. Or, alternatively, give me 1 second to clear everything out here. You can type in /passives, and it will show you all of these skill point quests you've already gotten to or done. If you reach Endgame and you type in /passives, it'll go through every single quest you've gone through, or gone by, and the ones that say 0 skill points, 0 from, there are skill points quests that you still need to do. So if you're at Endgame, type in /passives, and have a double check that you have every, that you have every quest done. Alright, gonna make our way through here, grab that fusing, wonderful. And let's hobble our way forward, give them a smack. Oh no. Oh, that's a predicament. I just realized, oh god. So, if you saw that and you're understanding why I feel kind of sad right now, all the more props to you. But essentially, as I was talking about before with the stat stick changes and the fact that my offhand now attacks, I also attacked with ground slam in my offhand, which meant that my gigantic big hit is now a 50-50 on is it going to be my small offhand or my gigantic main hand hit. So that is a little bit of a gamble, which is kind of annoying. Let me turn up my face cam a little bit here if I can. No, I can't because it's already at maximum. That's a little bit weird. All right. Now, this is kind of the first hideout that you're going to run into. You saw me go to my hideout earlier. This got changed with the new Betrayal expansion. They added in hideouts that you can find in the game, which is quite cool. So if we go in here, I don't know if it's going to have stuff for me. Oh, it does. All right. Now, I've already cleared this out on one of my other characters, one of my first characters when I was racing, because this is globally unlocked, right? Once you clear out this hideout and you kill everything in here, you will have this permanently forever. This is a hideout option that you can choose as kind of like a home base sort of thing. Now, there's really not as much to do in hideouts anymore. It used to house like 8 or 9 crafting benches and stuff. Now it only really houses 1 and your map device. So, I mean, your hideout is a little bit more underwhelming than it used to be. But you'll find these scattered throughout the world. You'll have someone in here that says, like, you talk to them, and then you clear the area, and then you talk to them again, and you'll have the place unlocked. We're going to put this skill point in Warcry duration here, because we're going to go for Battle Cry. Alright. Use Sunder to try and get some ranged flasks if possible. That is a wall. Let's not leap into that instead. Sleep through here. Man, I wish I had faster attack speed. The struggle. I live in the struggle, boys. Okay, now there is the end. But the thing is, we are still missing 1 platinum bust. I don't really remember where this one is, but I am going to go have a look through here and see if I remember via my pathing skills. Let's check up here. Nothing, but I will get flasks, hopefully. There's 1 flask. Good, good, good. I believe it's going to be down there. I've ran this quest quite a couple of times. I've ran quite a few characters through here. So it should most likely be down here. Let's go over here. Bam, there we go. Now, you'll see that my war banner that we were talking about previously, I kind of cut myself off accidentally, has accrued 50 stacks. That's where it hits the stack cap. Now, if I press the button again, I can slam down my war banner for added bonuses. So if we come over here to a giant pack, I hit it again, I can put down my war banner, and I gain an adrenaline buff, which is like attack speed, damage, and some other stuff. You can see that when you mouse over said banner. And the banner will last quite a while at 50 stacks. So essentially, you only really want to drop it on like boss kills and stuff, or on packs that could pose a potential problem. Slam my way through them. So, yeah, war banners, the dynamic for them is essentially put them up at like the start of the area, clear through that area, and then when you reach a boss, slam down your banner and get a nice damage bonus for said boss fight. Are you seriously not here? Really? For real? Oh my god, this build is a little slow. So we're going to be leave slamming our way back, and I think I'll come back to find that at some point. It may be down there as well, knowing my luck. Probably is. Let's have a little hobble back, shall we? This is the struggle of not playing a massive movement speed build. You're a little on the slow side sometimes. Sometimes you're a little slow. Okay, hobble our way back here. We are running a stash tab sale. Oh, really? Alright. Now, I guess I can kind of talk about that, actually, for filler during said little hops. If you're planning on buying a supporter pack, or you want to buy some stash tabs or something like that, I would recommend buying a supporter pack, because the golden rules of PoE for microtransactions and stuff is always buy on sale and always buy via a supporter pack, in my opinion, because otherwise you're not really getting as much value as is worth for your money. Now, getting supporter packs will give you like a full armor set, some cosmetics, a portal effect, as well as like the exact same amount of points, except maybe like, I don't know, it's like 50 points less. for like a whole armor set or something like that. So in my opinion, very, very worth it. Now, because they're running a stash tab sale this weekend, although this is going to be out probably on Tuesday, so you're going to most likely miss the stash tab sale, or this one anyways. Well, you can take this knowledge going forward into the upcoming ones. All I would recommend buying, at least for me personally, is a map tab, a divination card tab, a currency tab, and if you're playing in Standard League or a trade league of any sorts, one premium tab. For the reason of, if you get to Endgame, a map tab is literally godsend. It can show you what you have completed, what you haven't completed. It can just make your life so much faster and just better in general. Some people say you don't need a map tab. I am not in that camp. You need a map tab to really enjoy Path of Exile, in my personal opinion. Now, you can kind of mitigate that with other stuff, but I'll show you that when we eventually get to Endgame. In, I don't know how many episodes. I talk a lot, so I have really no idea how many episodes it's going to take for us to get to maps and stuff. But hopefully we will get there at some point, and I can show you just how good map tabs really are. Divination cards are something that drops off of enemies that you can turn in. They drop as like one piece of a stack, essentially. If you get 6 cards for, I don't know, a certain card set, you can turn it in and you can pull a reward from it, which is how I accidentally got a very, very valuable item from an RNG card set during the start of the league, which was very, very funny. But you can use this to sort of target farm a specific item. In my case, I got a Comb's Heart, which is a very, very rare chess piece that you can attempt to target farm, but will take you a very long time. Now, I got it through complete RNG because, you know, streamer luck and all that sort of conversation, right? Hew. But still. So, a divination card tab will save you a lot of space because there's, like, over 150 cards or something like that. I don't know the exact amount, but there's a lot of cards. And just imagine every single spot in a stash tab being taken up by a div card, because that's probably going to happen eventually. Because there's just that many cards in Path of Exile. So grabbing one of those is massive, in my opinion. We're going to grab that two-hander, because that could be useful for me. I'm going to grab these portal scrolls as well. If I could click the damn things. There we go. As I was saying. And then the currency tab is basically not really required, in my opinion, but a very, very nice thing to have. I've kind of gone in a loop. That's a little awkward. A very nice thing to have, and something I probably wouldn't want to play without. But that is just me. You can adapt around not having one if you would like to. Okay, did I go the right way? I think. Hopefully. Do I just not remember the layout of this area? That's also a possibility. Definitely a possibility. Did I mess up somewhere? I don't really remember. It's not up there, it's not at the catacombs. Catacombs is a spot for, what is it? Ascendancy Trial. There we go. There we go. Now, I know that this quest over here isn't a skill point quest, so we're just going to leave that be. And we're going to go through here to Ye Olden Battlefront. Now, from here, I can start to teach you a few speedrun tactics, like tactics / gimmicks / tactics, etc., etc. Essentially, when you are doing quests or you're doing your leveling, your character leveling, there's some things you can do which speedrunners will call a skip. That allows you to save time in certain spots, skip certain pieces of content, and just speed up your time overall. Now, the skip that we're going to be doing is just more of a time saver than anything else, because the quest we're on currently is just saying travel to Ebony Barracks. Now, we can't get to said Ebony Barracks because there's a few things in our way. Now, the way the quest is going to tell us to go is going to be to go to the top right of this map and talk to someone named Lady Diala, if I remember correctly. And then she is going to tell us afterwards to come right down here to this waypoint, to the left of the waypoint, to grab this ribbon spool. And we are going to have to go to Solaris Temple level 2 to talk to her. Now, after we grab that and we go talk to her, she'll tell us to go to the docks. which are right over here, to grab another item. Now, what if I told you you could just grab all of these items before you went to talk to her instead, and save yourself, I don't know, maybe, depending how slow your build is, between 5 to 15 minutes worth of time by just going to get this first. Now keep in mind we got that waypoint down there, so we can get the item here, and then instead of having to run all the way back, we can just town portal back to town, take the waypoint to the battlefront that we were just in, and we can run from there. But it's nice being on an immortal character again. Playing a very, very squishy ranger for hours on end will make you appreciate tanky characters. Make you very much so appreciate a tanky character. We're still actually doing rather decent damage, if I'm honest. Damage could be a lot worse. Alright, let's make our way through here. And we're going to be looking for an icon on the map, because exclamation points are where the quests are. So we are going to kind of hop our way through here, just kind of scouting around for an exclamation point, like I showed you in the second or third episode with the doors. You can do the same thing, looking for quest objectives. Now, I don't really know the docks layout personally. I didn't play that far back in the Path of Exile, but we found it right here. So we hit this, grab our sulfite, and then we can portal scroll. Keep in mind I grabbed the portal scroll for this exact reason. And we can waypoint to, where was it? The battlefront, right here. We have no reason to go back to docks anymore, so we don't even need the waypoint there. And now, I can just walk my yielding, slow, burly marauder all the way back to the actual quest in the top right of the map to take us up to Solaris Temple. So let's hippity hop our way over there. Keep in mind, Leap Slam can go up ledges, and we can make our way there. 27, we are on level, perfect. Make sure to keep this level as close to your character level as possible. That screwed me out of the race, which made me very sad. So try and keep on level if possible. You may have to farm a little, you may have to go back to a certain area to kill a little bit of extra stuff, but try your best to remain on level if at all possible. Okay, Solaris Temple level 1 is pretty much a straight shot. Once you find the waypoint here, the level 2 is right beside it, so you don't really have a lot of running to do. Pretty much just a straight line. Kill all these fellas. Gotta keep an eye on my banner stacks. Try and slam it down if I come across a rare. Put my totem up here and smack our man to death. There we are. A little bit of mana. Maybe not mana issues, but mana burn, that's for sure. Just hop through here. I mean, this character is tanky enough that I can really just run through the whole area if I care to, but it's whatever. So there's our waypoint, which means it should be most likely this way, I think. Watch me go the wrong way and, you know, the game laugh at me. Very possible indeed. Let's hop over here. Get a nice Sunder through everything. That's why Sunder is very, very nice and very satisfying. Strong box, put up our War Chief, or our Protector, sorry. Too used to playing my War Chief character. And hop through here. Nice Sunder again. Not as good as the last one, but a good one nonetheless. Trying to line stuff up again. There we go. Man, that's just satisfying. Getting like a good Herald of Ash proc chain. It just goes wild. Make sure to kill them. And them. And now you guys can start to endure some of the pain that the people on my stream endure every single day. Of the fact that I've had this one skill point set here for like a level and a half. Because I just forget to put the things in. Even though, like, my stream overlay, here, I'll show you. If I switch to my stream overlay, it covers my skill point. It covers what my skill point is, just so it doesn't trigger people the whole time. Which is, quite funny. It was kind of an accident that I put my face cam there, but it wound up being very, very useful for me. Because, you know, I don't have people saying, yo, spend your skill points over and over and over. Now I'm about to spend this one. I'm going to get another one in 2 seconds. Because, sure, why not? Bad timing. That's why. Alright, Solaris Temple level 2. Let's keep rolling. There's no boss at the end of level 2. There's just the person to talk to. Let's grab that 2 stone. And then we're going to grab that. And then my war cry is instant. No animation. We talked about the animation in a previous video. And about, what was it? Multi-strike locking you in animations and that sort of stuff. We talked about that. And now you can see I can use my war cry mid-leap slam if I wanted to. Which is exceptional. As my leap slam decides to not go off. Sure, whatever. Off over here. Now I can really kind of work war cries into my game without really taking any risk whatsoever. I don't think this is the right way to go. I don't remember. Let's have a hippity hop over here, shall we? Might be. Hey, that's gonna be really good. We're gonna make a two-handed weapon out of that. Let's identify this. Socketed melee gems. Ooh. Oh. Oh. Right, my character's invulnerable. Hold on. That's a really good weapon. That is a really good weapon, actually. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Let's deal with these fellas real quick. And we're gonna switch ourselves to a two-hander. Should hit like an absolute freight train. Grab that. Level up protector, ruthless, heavy strike. What's the setup look like? Melee fizz. It's only a one link. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, that sucks. It's got +1 to socketed melee gems, but no actual like multi sockets on it. So we'll keep that on hand. If I go back to town and I have jewelers anywhere, I may use a jewelers to roll an additional socket on there. Oh, that kind of sucks because that's a really good. That's really good. Ah, well. We're gonna talk to her. She's gonna give us a necklace. We are going to be greedy. We're gonna take rarity. Now, normally I would take like strength or whatever there, but we're gonna take. I have no wisdom scrolls. Whoops. We're gonna take the rarity necklace. Now, this is a form of magic find, which I don't really know how to explain magic find. So we're going to try and explain magic find in the next upcoming video, because it has been 36 minutes, and I'm going to cut it here, and I shall see you guys in the next episode, where I try my best to explain rarity versus quantity and all that sort of jazz. So I shall see you in the next one. Take care, lads. Thanks for making it to the end of my video. If you enjoyed it, take a look at the 2 pieces of content you're seeing on screen right now. If you wouldn't mind, you can click that big red button and see more updates from me. And if you want to go even further than that, then you can take a look in the description to find my new Patreon link. You boys gotta keep the lights on somehow.